often overshadowed by the more well-known witch trials of Salem, disenfranchised young women began to experience violent fits and hallucinations. The village pastor made the swift diagnosis of possession by the devil, witchcraft. Their anomalous behavior became attributed to the land itself.
Hey guys, welcome to Happy Wax TV. So tonight we're talking about a movie called Witches in the Woods. I did a trailer review for this movie, I don't know, like a month and a half ago. I thought the trailer looked absolutely fantastic. If you follow my channel for any length of time, you know I have this like fondness for lower budgeted horror movies. Not everything has to be a gore fest or a creature feature, you know what I mean? But it's just, you know, I've seen a lot of lower budget movies. And I've seen a lot of lower budget, shitty horror movies. You know what I mean? And it's always refreshing when you get something that comes along that, you know, not necessarily new, but it's just, I don't know, it's a little bit different, I guess. And when I saw the trailer for this movie, I thought, you know, it looks just enough that I want to give it a watch. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So I did. I watched it today. And while it wasn't the best movie I'd ever seen, you know what I mean? Like it actually surprised me as to how good it really was. The trailer, you know, lived up to the hype. A lot of times with these movies, you know, they make the trailer look like just fantastic, but they take a lot of the good scenes out of the movie to do that, and then it kind of ruins the movie. But they didn't do that in this case. Like, there are a lot of scenes in the trailer, but they left enough back to kind of still surprise you here at the end. But I'm going to do my best not to give spoilers. I just want to give a general synopsis and then my thoughts on this flick. So basically, I mean, it's just your run-of-the-mill synopsis. I mean, a bunch of friends get together. I think there's, 7 or 8 of them stuffed into this SUV. And they take off and they're going to go on a snowboarding trip. Halfway to the destination, they find out the highway's closed. So they either have to turn back 2 hours and go back 2 hours, or the one friend, I can't remember what his name is, has this idea, he knows this back road that'll get him there. You know, it's the same old kind of story. I think that's how Hills Have Eyes actually happened. Didn't they take a side road or something in the desert and then they met their doom? So anyways, that's what happens in this movie. They take this you know, back road. It's the middle of the winter. It's freezing cold out. It's a bad idea, but they do it anyways. And then they get lost. You know what I mean? And then the SUV crashes and, you know, they can't get it out. But there's more to it than just that, though. Okay, so let me talk about the good about this movie first. There's a scene in this movie. Now, I played the opening, well, not the opening, but the monologue that the one girl gives when she reads. She has this pamphlet, and it kind of describes that the area that they're going into. You know, back in the day, it was like a possessed type of area, whether it be the forest or not, but there was, like, you know, witch hunts and stuff going on. And that's pretty much all the history we are given in this area, which is good, because it makes this movie work, because then the whole time you're kind of wondering like what's going on here, what's possessing these people, you know what I mean? That's not a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but it's cool because there's this one scene where when they're driving through this back road, and the one girl there, Allison, I don't know if this is correct or not. I probably should have researched it more, but I was always thought that demons try and find like the weakest person, do you know what I mean? Or someone that's had like some sort of torment in their life. It kind of weakens them a bit. And this Allison girl had like a traumatic situation at the university where I don't know if they actually said what happened, but there was a bunch of people involved and something happened. Her and her friend Jill actually talk about it, how she's suing these guys. So I don't know if the football team did something to her or whatever. But anyways, she's a little traumatized, which might be the reason why they're going on this trip. But anyways, there's a scene in this when they're going through this backcountry, this forest, and Allison looks out the window and there's this crow sitting on a branch. And it freaked me out, actually. I don't get freaked out very often, but the crow's following specifically her, I guess, in the SUV, and then it goes to squawk, but they slow it down, and it's just the creepiest fucking thing. So I'm just assuming at that point in the movie that whatever possesses this girl goes from like this crow, you know what I mean, and goes into her. But it's cool. You'll see that scene, and I love that scene. I was blown away by it. It was simple. I mean, there's no special effects other than just slowing it down, but it was, I don't know, man, it worked, and I thought, wow, I don't know, there was just something about it that was cool. You know what I mean? And the other thing too that I like, Jordan Barker is the director, but the other thing too I liked is he doesn't actually let you know what's possessing this girl or what this thing is that's going around from person to person. Again, not trying to give spoilers, but if you watch the trailer, you'll see what it's in there. But you don't know if it's the trees or if it's the land or if it's like even an animal, you know what I mean? Like this crow or you know what I mean? It's just, it kind of it confuses you a little bit because you don't know exactly what or where the possession is coming from, which is really cool. But yeah, and then, I mean, there's gore in this movie too, which is great. There's not a lot of it, but when the gory scenes are there, it's enough to keep most gore fans happy. I mean, there's some pretty good stuff in this movie, but I don't know. It just okay. So let me talk about the thing that I didn't like about this movie. Okay, if there was ever a group of people that should not go on a trip together, it was this group of kids. Okay, like everybody in this fucking van or this SUV had issues. Okay, there was like a love triangle going on there, just other issues. I mean, there was the one guy friend that brings his girlfriend who nobody likes, and it's just, I'll tell you something, honestly, I'm just being honest, it really took away from this movie. That was it really, like, just their attitudes, it just made me not care about fucking any of them, you know what I mean? And I don't know if he was trying to make it seem like when they got onto this land, if it was, you know what I mean, if it was making everyone have anxiety and kind of bicker a bit more to each other. Maybe that's what they were going for, but whatever it was, it really took me out of a lot of scenes in this movie, and it was unfortunate because the idea for this movie, and you know what I mean, if they took that element away from it, honestly, this movie would be fucking kick-ass, in my opinion, you know what I mean? Especially for a lower budgeted movie, because the acting was really good. But it's just these attitudes and the way they bicker back and forth, and it's just like, why couldn't we just had 8 people go on a ski trip, the one girl gets possessed, and then they all just try to survive without fucking bickering and arguing like a bunch of little fucking snowflake bitches. You know what I mean? Like just try and survive, and but it's just this love triangle thing between the two guys and this girl, and then the one that the girl that, like, the girlfriend that nobody likes, and it's just, oh my God, like, we don't need that. We didn't need that in this movie to make it work, or at least to this extent. And I mean, it just, wow, we did not need that. So I mean, I'm going on about it, but it just, watch this movie, okay? I'm not saying don't watch this movie. Absolutely watch this movie, because I thought it was really, really good. Except for that one fucking element, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about as soon as they start. Like, it's almost from the get-go, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I guess maybe they were trying to make it sound or make it play into the, like, as soon as they went on the side road and got in this accident, then like everybody's kind of, has anxiety and stuff, because it is freezing cold. They know they're not going to walk out of there because it's night's coming, and they're worried about freezing to death. So I guess tempers are up and stuff, but I don't know, man. It really pulled me out of it. It's too bad, because the idea behind this story is pretty cool. And this Allison girl, played by Sasha Clements, she does a great fucking job. And the other thing too that I liked about this movie, when you have possession movies nowadays, they really try and push the makeup, you know what I mean, to make the person look as, I don't know, like decomposed or cut up or whatever as they can. They didn't do that in this movie. I mean, yeah, you could tell when she was, because she had like the circles around her eyes and little marks on her face. But they didn't overdo it. And I don't know if it was because lack of budget or if it's just the look they were going for, but it really worked. I mean, it just shows that you don't have to have like, a ton of CGI or special effects to make a character work, as long as it's acted well. And there were scenes in this movie when she was possessed. I don't want to give spoilers away, because all the stuff I'm talking about is in the trailer. But there's a scene where she's banging her head against the window, and I mean, all it takes is just like to edit that scene properly, where they cut just when she's moving her head, and it just gives her that little jolt, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it, and it really does work. You know what I mean? So I like this movie. I really did. To give it a rating, I would probably give it maybe like a 6.5, maybe a 7. You know what I mean? It's a real shame that they had this whole group of people just be a bunch of whiny bitches. Like it was so fucking annoying. And honestly, that's kind of the only thing bad I can say about this movie. But it was throughout the entire fucking movie, and they didn't need it, or at least not to that extent. And I just wish they would have kind of held back a bit. And this movie, you know, probably maybe even would have been like a 7.5, maybe even an 8 for me, because the idea was really cool. I don't want to tell you about the ending or anything, obviously, but I don't know, man. Give it a watch. It's out now. It's called Witches in the Woods. Again, I really did like this flick. It's low budget, so I mean, you're not going to get a ton of CGI and all that other bullshit that we don't want. The idea and the story is really cool, but there's just that one element I wish they would have done without. But other than that, I think it was pretty fucking good. So anyways, Witches in the Woods, it's out now. The copy that I watched was a UK copy, so yeah, just find it, pay for it. I mean, these guys worked hard on this movie, and definitely watch it. And then, yeah, get back to me and leave some comments and let me know if you like this one as much as I did. So anyways, Witches in the Woods, let me know what you thought. I got lots more coming, movie reviews. I've got a lot more of collectibles, these guys coming that I want to show you, a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, lots in the works here. Work's still busy, but I'm going to start doing video after work now. I have a little more free time. That volleyball's over with, so I can get some more videos out and on the way, so that's good. So anyways, let me know what you think of this movie if you have seen it. If you haven't, go find it and watch it, and then get back to me and let me know what you think. And yeah, guys, as always, until next time, stay scared.